"Sir, are you lost?" That's what the guy said, sharp voice, sunglasses like a pair of black mirrors, uniform so pressed it might just crack if he breathed too hard. I'll never forget it. The world's baking in the Coronado sun, brass and ribbons everywhere, and this young lieutenant commander's standing right in front of me, blocking my path, like he owns the place. It'd be funny if it wasn't so damn sad. Here I am, just holding a simple piece of cardstock, my hands shaking a little, feeling more out of place than I have in years. And he's looking at me like I'm here to steal the silverware. My invitation says section, row 3. I tell him, as calm as I can manage, even though I know what's coming. He barely looks at it, just laughs under his breath and waves me off. "Pops, there's probably been a mix-up. This is VIP seating for the BUD/S graduation. Head over to the general admission bleachers, all right?" And then he turns his attention back to his little audience, making sure everyone sees how he's handling the situation. All about the image god. You could smell the ambition on this guy. But I didn't move. Not an inch. I'd come 12 hours down a mountain, Sierra Nevadas to the sea, to see my grandson Ethan get that trident he's dreamed of since he was knee-high, and I'll be damned if I let some overgrown hall monitor run me off. This world, these rows of perfect uniforms and barked order sit all feels distant now, like I'm looking through glass at someone else's life. And yet, it aches with something familiar, something I thought I'd left behind. He tries again, with just a hint more impatience. "Look, I don't have time to argue. Ceremony starts in 15. Move along, or I'll get security." He steps closer, big and broad, and trying to look intimidating. I don't flinch. I just look him right in the eye. Funny thing, bullies, no matter the uniform, they're all the same. I spot him, a few rows back, a young sailor, Petty Officer Miller. He's watching, face tight with something like shame or anger. You can see it's eating him alive, watching this scene play out. In his world, respect's not a word, it's the air you breathe. But Davies, yeah, Hotshot Davies, they call him's too busy putting on a show, talking louder, puffing out his chest, making sure the crowd's watching. He even jokes, "What is this, bring your grandpa to work day?" and puts a hand on my shoulder as if he's going to guide me out of there. The second his fingers touch the fabric, something shifts in the air. Not a fight, not a word, just the way still water changes when you drop a stone in. He stares at me, but for a flicker, just a split second, looks small, like a kid in his dad's suit. I say, soft but clear, I served. Not to impress him, just the truth. He snorts. "Yeah, I'm sure you did. Pushed a desk in Pensacola in the 70s, right?" The arrogance almost impressive. "This is the team's. It's a little different. Let's go." And he starts pushing, and my sleeve rides up my arm, exposing a bit of old ink. That's when Miller snaps. I catch it in his eyes. He slips away, phone already out. I see him hesitating, but he dials anyway, a number he got from some old chief. "Only use this if you see something that's about to break the Navy's soul." The phone barely rings before a gravelly voice answers, Captain Reynolds himself. He's barely done reporting before Reynolds barks. Describe the veteran. Miller does, gray hair, calm, blue eyes, simple suit. Is Davies touching him? "Yes, sir. Stay where you are. I'm on my way." And that's that. Back in Section A, Davies finally shoves me into the aisle, calls security. "Escort this gentleman to the main gate." He's lost his way. Even the security guards hesitate, glancing at me, sensing something's wrong. And then a Hapensa staff car's horn slices through the chatter. Black sedan, flags flying, screeches to a halt where no car should be. Out steps a man who could make stones stand at attention, Captain Frank Reynolds, legend of naval special warfare. You could feel the temperature drop 10 degrees. Silence falls. Officers and sailors snap to attention, except Davies, who looks like a deer on ice. "Captain," he manages, but Reynolds isn't interested. His eyes cut past everyone, right to me, and all that steel melts away into something soft, reverent. "Mr. Carter," he says, voice thick with feeling. "It's an honor, sir. We had no idea you'd be here." I nod. "Frank, it's been a long time. You were just a lieutenant last I saw you." Davies' jaw goes slack, can't process it. The command, the respect, the reality that I'm not just some old-timer lost in the crowd. Reynolds's gaze lands on Davy's hand, where he'd pushed me. He turns, eyes like winter, and pins him with a stare that could bend steel. Lieutenant Commander Davies, he says, dangerously quiet, explain to me, in very small words, what you were doing. Davies stammers something about assuming I didn't belong. You assumed. Reynolds echoes like a death sentence. You saw his age, and you assumed weakness. You saw his clothes, and you assumed he was unimportant. Then, gently, he fixes my sleeve, and everyone sees the serpent coiled around a trident, a skull, and below it, U-734. It's old, faded, but unmistakable to anyone who knows. Reynolds freezes, a whisper on his lips, my God, it's real. The Reapers. The crowd holds its breath. This isn't just a story anymore. Reynolds turns to the crowd. You think you're here to see the world's elite graduate, but today, you're also in the presence of the man who wrote the book they study from. This is Samuel the Ghost Carter. Before there were SEALs, before Dev grew, there were men like him. He was a founding member of MACSOG, a plank owner of Unit 734 the Reapers, a direct action unit, so secret the files were supposed to be burned. See that faded Navy cross inside his jacket? That's one of 3. The other's classified. He goes on about Halo jumps, the Carter method, solo ops deep behind enemy lines. The call sign Ghost wasn't a nickname, was a description. He would enter, eliminate a target, and be gone before anyone knew he was there. Entire platoons terrified of a single man they could never see. He turns to Davies, voice cold as the sea in January. This man bled more for this country than you've ever sweat. The ground you stand on was paid for by him and men like him. And you put your hands on him. You dared to call him Pops. He lets it hang, lets Davies stew in it face pale, hands shaking. You are relieved of your command. Effective immediately. Your time in naval special warfare is over. Out in the formation, my grandson Ethan's watching, eyes wide with pride and shock. All those years she never knew. The security guards back away, and Davies is just a shell, barely upright. I look at Reynolds, and I put a hand on his arm steady, gentle. Frank, I say, the boy is young, full of pride and fire. That's what this place makes. It's a good thing. Don't snuff it out. Just teach him where to aim it. He made a mistake. Let him learn from it. And right there, in front of everyone, the anger drains from Reynolds. As you wish, sir. He turns to Davies, barely holding it together. You heard him. You've been granted a mercy you do not deserve. You're assigned to the Naval Archives at the Washington Navy Yard. For the next year, you'll read the service records of men from his generation, write a report on everyone. Maybe you'll learn the uniform you wear is a privilege, not a right. Davies just nods, mute with shame, then staggers off. Reynolds escorts me to the seat of honor, front and center. The ceremony starts, but it's different now. The energy, the ice, everyone's thinking about what it means, who came before, who built this legacy. When Ethan's name is called, he walks across the stage, gets that trident, and finds my eyes in the crowd. That moment, man, I wish you could bottle it. Afterward, when the crowds have gone and the sun's melting into the ocean, Ethan walks beside me, voice thick, heart heavy. Grandpa, why? He asks. All those years, why didn't you tell me you were one of them? I stop, watching the waves roll in, and lay a hand on his shoulder, saying, place Davies' touch with arrogance, but now it's love. Son, I say, because the work's what matters. Not the medals, not the stories. The work and the men beside me. When it's all said and done, you'll find the quietest men in the room are the ones with the loudest histories. They don't need to talk about it, he lived it. Remember that when you lead. Substance over style, always. He nods, and I know it's sunk in deeper than any classroom lesson or lecture ever could. He's not just a SEAL, now's the grandson of the Ghost. And that's not a burden, that's a gift. The stories of true heroes, they're usually the ones you never hear. It's on us to look past the surface and spot the greatness walking quietly among us. So if you've ever known someone like Theta, quiet Herodont, let their story fade. Share this, drop your thoughts below, tell me what justice and respect mean where you come from. Let's keep these lessons alive, because sometimes the loudest voice in the room isn't the one you should be listening to, you know what I mean?